Yeah.
Like as soon as I get ready to hit the ground, I wouldn't hit the ground. I would be like in the ocean, and I would start drowning. And see, me being the average black man, I cannot swim. Drowning is like one of my
Hmm.
worst fears.
Right.
And so, well, at the time I'm still a kid, obviously, but I didn't know how to swim, and like I would wake up to me drowning every time. And
That's,
I had that nightmare multiple times.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
told my mom
That.
about it, and she told
Jesus.
me, yeah, she told me that I guess she was, I don't remember how exactly it went, but she was letting me know that I can control my dreams or something like that. Like I can, it's all like she was saying, it's all in my head. I can control how it goes or whatever happens in it or whatever. And so I was like, bet. And I want to say like I didn't have the dream for a while. A couple days later, I had it, and then like out of the blue, I just remembered. Oh wait, I control it. And so I just remember, I vividly remember me just like thinking about flying out of the water, and I started flying. I was like, oh bro, this is fucking awesome.
That's pretty dope.
like
I wish I could have that type of control or power in those situations because I have several reoccurring dreams. A lot of them have different variations, but one that sticks out to me is the driving theme, where I'm usually in a car or I'm not even behind the wheel. It might be a loved one, like my family, and it's always typically me going off course and hitting something. I've had several ones with my dad now. They're in different variations, but we're traveling to somewhere. We're going to like a game or something, and he doesn't know exactly where he's going. He takes a wrong fucking turn, and it always ends us off a bridge into water. And we're in water, and I've had several dreams of us just going into water. Yeah, sure.
what did you say?
What?
What just
Who
happened?
just said that? Who just?
What did I hear?
I don't know. My water story. We're basically drowning. And we know that we have to get this car. None of it makes real good sense. Like, why is there water underneath this, like a bridge on the highway, And he veers off, and he's always going off course. I'm usually not even the driver, but sometimes I'll have that. That's even worse. But it's us landing a vehicle in water and fighting for our lives to get this vehicle out and all this shit. It's like very strange, but just sometimes the bridge is 20 feet off, sometimes it's 50 feet off, and we veer off and we're just floating in air. Immediately, I always get out of the fucking vehicle, and I'm just swimming to land, and then we think about the car and how everything's fucked up. And it's just like, holy shit, how many near death experiences do I have to have when I go to sleep?
Yeah.
Either that or it's repeated in school. So most of my nightmares or dreams, because I didn't like school growing up, I don't know I never have recovered, I guess. There's got to be something. I always just see random people from my past, usually in every nightmare or dream that I can remember. It's a familiar face. It could be random as hell, but it's someone that I at least somewhat knew. And I'm always in high school either lost or something's going fucking wrong. I'm taking a test. I didn't study. I'm thinking about like whether or not I should go to school the next day because I used to skip a bunch, my senior
Yep.
year. So I think that kind of sits with me. The fact that I wasn't there and I wasn't present, I was always looking to avoid. I hated the fact that I had to wake up at 6:30 a.m. for some place I didn't want to
Yeah.
go to. And hindsight, I thought that I had dealt with it and kind of gotten over it. But when you get this years later, over and over, of you almost like repeating that same horrible feeling of when you were there again and again, it's like, what the fuck? It kind of eats at you. Like, why do I have to go back there? Why do I have to see
Yeah.
these same faces again? Why am I put in
Of
these
all of all things, like
situations?
seriously.
Exactly. And it's usually always me in like fucking high school. I could be playing a sport, or I could just be trying to get to the next class, or taking a test, or I'm talking to some people. It could be a girl from there. It could be some of my friends that turn enemies. It could have just been a good friend. It could have been teachers. It's all a
Maybe
variant.
maybe you just like deep inside, maybe you just miss your younger years of your life.
I hated it though. I'm telling you, these are
Like,
nightmares.
oh man, oh they're nightmares. Oh, I thought they were just
There's
random
nothing.
dreams.
They're not full on like, oh my god, the devil's coming out to kill you type of nightmares. But none of them are pleasant. Usually, it's something where I'm facing anxiety or looking to just get away. Like, it's not positions I ever would want to be in school. It's not me having a good time with my buddies by any means. It's just something that triggers back either old faces or situations that honestly I would never want back. I wanted to forget about all those times, and now every time I go to sleep, I'm right back where I was beforehand. And it gets a little little daunting. It's like, what the fuck is it? Because I don't know about you, but I just have, when I do have either, very rarely it's a dream. When it's pleasant, it's about 20% of the time. The rest of my shit, those are the ones I remember because I usually wake up to it, or what you would call a nightmare. You know?
Yeah. I don't know.
So,
I used to have like, I don't know. Like when I was younger, I think the only dreams I really remember were nightmares, and so I hated dreaming so much because I was like, I'd rather not dream at all. And like,
same.
I don't know. After I don't know. Like me, I'm a religious person, right? Okay, so but
Mm-hmm.
like after praying about it so many times, I don't know. Like I just stopped having dreams, and so like I really just either I don't remember them, or I just don't have them. I just
I wish I could. That's what sucks is like these, but maybe there's a reason we do remember those ones. Maybe it's trying
yeah.
to tell me, or it has.
I feel like dreams have meanings.
Yeah, but where's our evidence? You know, I come.
Yeah.
I
I mean, it's
almost
not
wish
really
it.
evident.
I wish it didn't have a meaning, but I know somewhere deep down inside, like, what's it trying to fucking tell me? I keep having
Yeah. Like
dreams
what's
of
going
me
on? Yeah.
crashing, or me in anxiety moments, or times where it was just very depressing, and I'm living them in different variations, and I'm seeing people from years ago. Some people
Yeah.
are random. Like, why the fuck would I dream about this person? I didn't even
Yeah.
hardly know them, and they're involved. So I know that some of this stuff is just, your mind's making up something. Not all of it's gonna have hardcore meaning, but there's other
I had a
parts where,
dream.
yeah,
I had a dream. I went to the zoo.
mm,
I don't
the
know why.
zoo.
I don't know. Yeah, I went to the zoo, and I don't remember all what happened, but for some reason I vividly remember we were walking. We were at the zoo. We hopped on like this jeep,
Mm-hmm.
and we were driving out in the safari. Well, not safari. Well, I guess it was a fucking safari, but we were at the zoo. I don't know, but like, cause there was like animals in cages and shit. But anyway, we drove out to safari, and we were like out there looking at zebras and shit. And then I remember looking over and seeing my cousin butt ass naked riding a rhino. I was like,
What the
okay,
fuck?
yeah, it's just
Okay.
completely random, bro. And I was like, okay, yeah. I
I
don't know
mean,
why I remember that. It's just
well, I could see why it might stick in your imprint. I've had, at least, I mean, that's random as hell, but it's not
I
super.
know it's like the randomest thing. Like I was like, damn, bro. Like okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've had some light memories of dreams, but most of what I remember is something. The dark ones always kind of stick with you.
Yeah, the nightmares are the one that stick out. You can never remember the good things.
I always have a hard time the next day when I remember them. They kind of just eat away at me, and I keep going back through them, almost trying to remember it. And
It's,
I don't
have
know
you
what
now?
good it
Okay, now
does.
have you ever had a dream and like so you're dreaming right? You wake up
And you
and then
dream.
you're like, oh shit, this was a good dream. I'm liking the way it was going, and so you go back to sleep and you start back dreaming about the same thing.
2 nights ago, I had that happen.
Yeah,
I had it
that's
happen 3 different times, and it was involving a. Me and my friends were in this guy's house, and we were all renting it out. One guy was like one of my drug dealers in high school, so I didn't even really like him that much, but he was a chill dude. And we were
yeah.
all renting this house, and they gave me a room there, and I was like in this, this back room area where like the furnace and shit was, and that was gonna be my room. And my other buddy's trying to like make a fucking fire, and he ends up throwing a bunch of shit into the fireplace to where it eventually just fucking exploded, and it kept
Oh wow.
going continuous to where I thought, we're all fucked. We don't want the goddamn fire, station coming here. We don't want the cops coming here. We don't want this house burning down. Um, and so we're just trying to deal with that over and over, and we're all like sketched out. Later on, like a couple hours after we're trying to get this shit put out, and we didn't call anything. We're all just freaking out. We see a the fireman coming through. It was another fire truck, and it was 2 houses down from where we were, and we're like, oh fuck, they could come over here.
They
And
can really help us out.
no, we were just, I think, concerned about the fact that it was illegals over there.
Yeah.
You know, we
Okay.
did not want to get caught. We just wanted to not even have. We just wanted to put the fucking fire out. But yeah, no, this fireplace was literally like you can imagine a bomb exploding inside of it, and I'm right in front of it. I'm like 10 feet behind, where the fireplace is. I'm like, holy fucking shit, get the fuck out of here. We start bolting for the door, and then we come back and we're like, we got to have a plan. We got to have some way to put this out, and we try settling it down. We were worried of it just catching on fire throughout the rest of. It was like a 1 level floor wherever the fuck we were at, and so we didn't know based on how fast it was spreading. We thought we were fucked, but
Yeah.
No, seeing something, your friend put in one little piece of, I don't know what the fuck he put. It had to have been flammable as shit because it just
Probably
blew the.
fucking like bag of gasoline.
Yeah, dude, it just blew the fuck out of it. So I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? And what, it's one of those dreams where you wish you could, because they're all people that I've known. So like, if you actually had control of your dream, I might be able to sit back and be like, this motherfucker don't live with me. I didn't move into here. I haven't talked to this guy in 6 years, and the other guy lives in Florida. So what the fuck is going?
What the fuck is going on?
You know? Oh, that was. But it was that over and over. So like, I would wake up 5 minutes, and then I would come back to it and try and almost finish it off. Rarely does that happen. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, damn. It's usually the good dreams. Right? I'll be like, can I finish that one, please? Try and lay my head back. Yeah, no, it don't work like that.
So, most
You're pretty sure they have
Like,
meaning?
most definitely. Like, so my dad, he had a, so he's got trigeminal neuralgia,
Damn, that's a
and
hard
it's
word to
a,
say. Fuck,
yeah, it's
sounds
a
deadly.
nerve thing.
Yeah.
No, it's not deadly, but it's extremely painful. It's a nerve thing. Anyway, so I'm just gonna break it down real quick. The nerve in his jaw, in the right side of his face, it does not have the coating around it like a regular nerve would. So
Right.
it is constantly shocking him.
Yeah, it's
And the
being
best way
touched
he
in it.
described it,
Yeah.
yeah, he said the best way he could describe it was it felt like someone was driving an ice pick through his face.
Fuck, man. What do you
And
do
that
about
and it
that, bro?
happens. So for a while, for like 4 or 5 years, like for like 4 years, he didn't even know what it was. He was just dealing with it, and it was extremely painful.
Shit.
And it got to the point where he couldn't work with it. He got it checked out. They let him know what it was. He worked with it for 2 more years, and then after that, he had an accident and couldn't work anymore because he was inside of. He's a welder, right? He was inside of
Mm-hmm.
a pipe. So the way they had him, they would shoot him down there like on like a little roller, right? And the only way for him to get up was them to pull him up, or he just worked his way up the pipe, out the pipe. Well, they
Gotcha.
slid him down there. They have somebody come through and check on him every. I want to say, was it 20, 30 minutes, something like that? Because I mean, you're in a pipe welding, anything can happen. Well,
Yeah, man.
anyway, did a checkup, everything was going good, came back, and they yelled out to him, and that he wasn't making any noises, and so they pulled him up, and he was locked up, like he was like having a stroke or something, and they had
Right.
no idea what was going on, and his jaw, that nerve in his jaw was just constantly shocking him, and so
Like season up on
he
him, bro.
yeah, so he did not work after that anymore. He
Mm-hmm.
stayed at home for a while, and then I want to say a couple years later, he went to go have surgery for it, and the way the surgery went, they literally, so what they do is that they were going to kill the nerve, or like, yeah, like kill the nerve,
Basically
you know.
deaden it. Yeah, like numb
Yeah,
it
and like,
to a point where it's not affecting him.
yeah, yeah, they're gonna use radiation to do it. The size of the radiation you're gonna use was
Mm.
like the size of a pinhead or whatever, so small, but still, you know
Radiation. Yeah.
radiation. But anyway, so the way that they do it is they put your head in a bracket. The bracket uses 4 bolts that screw down onto your skull, right? And so
Gotcha.
they numbed him up. Yeah, they numbed him up real good. Put the bracket on, and he says he was too doped out to really remember it. But the only thing he can really what he remembers happening is he remembers the doctor putting on the bracket, and the doctor was screwing it down, and he felt it tug.
Oof.
And I guess when he got to the last bolt, the doctor was screwing it down, and then
Oh,
he said he
fuck.
remembers hearing a loud pop. That's what he remembers.
Oh,
And
man.
so, but he can't feel it, so he's
No,
thinking
that's what I'm
everything's
saying.
good.
Like, if you can't feel it, bro, that's. But
Yeah,
even
he
hearing
remembers
it,
hearing. Yeah, he remembers hearing a loud pop. And
God.
so they went on with the operation, got done. And they it didn't require any cutting. It's just radiation. So, but well, no, okay. It- He didn't have any. He don't have any scars from it. He has a scar from the other surgery, but he didn't have any scars from that. But they bandaged him up because the screws went into. They had to touch the bone to bolt down.
Yeah,
They
man.
bandaged him up, and they sent him home. We lived about 2 hours away from where they did the surgery. Sent him home. Came down here. Our dad went to his room, and he still doped out pretty good. Went to his room about 30 minutes later. Our mom went in to check on him, and he was like, right when she was walking down the hall, he was calling her name, and she went in there, and he was like, "Is this?" He asked her, "Is this supposed to happen?" And because he went to go blow his nose, he was blowing on his nose, and when he blew in the tissue, the bandages on his head were moving like there was air passing through them,
Mm-hmm.
and so she took the bandages off to look, and when he would blow on his nose, a bunch of blood would just come out from his top of his head
Ah.
where they cracked the
Oh.
soil. So she hopped in the car. I don't even think she really explained to us what was going on. She just
Had
she
to
told us to
react
help
at
our
that
dad to
time. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
she told us to help our dad to the car, and she said, "Don't go anywhere. Someone's gonna check on y'all." And that's the last thing I remember hearing That's the last thing I remember them telling us until like a day and a half later. Day and a half later, they finally got back with us. Like, my mom called us over. We were staying with one of her friends, but that's when they told us that they cracked the skull open.
Holy
And the way it cracked was, it wasn't just like a little small crack. It was so go from temple to temple, go back a little bit, and like it
wow.
was like a line from ear to ear. That's how it cracked. And
That's a
so
crack. Holy.
yeah, that was a crack. And so they the way they fixed it was they put a titanium strip underneath his skull around the entire like underneath the entire crack, and they bolted it down, like screwed it down. And so he has a titanium strip going pretty much from ear to ear.
Just to bolt down that
And
crack that they
yeah,
fucked up on.
yeah, that they fucked up on. And
That's
they were gonna
terrible, bro.
sue. They were gonna sue. The VA set them up pretty good to where it would be pointless to sue, so they didn't. You know,
Gotcha.
he was immediately moved to 100% VA disability. It
Yeah, of
wasn't a
course.
long,
They
you know,
moved. They
court.
moved
Yeah,
him up. My mom used to. She worked for the VA, you know, and she knows
yeah,
all about that. The list for that, people wait
it's
years, but
insane.
when they know that they
Yeah,
fucked up, yeah,
yeah,
they bring you to the
they make
top.
shit happen. Yeah, they moved him to 100% disability, VA disability. They give him a check every week or every no, I want to say every week, $1,000 check every week.
Uh, some-
And
something good.
yeah,
Goddamn.
yeah. So, you know,
That's when they do
they
right,
took
bro.
that. Yeah. But anyway, before they went and fixed it, it was like he was I want to say after I want to say it was either after. I think it was after he fixed it. His vitals were all over the place. They weren't stable. And so he was in ICU. He was think he was like the first 3 days, they weren't sure he was going to make it. They were pretty sure he was going to die. But so my dad, very religious man. He
What
he
religion, if I may ask?
Christian.
Christian. Okay.
Christian. Yeah. So he can tell you like he is reading a book, like it's fact. He has no doubt about it. He remembers it clear as day. But he remembers like this entire time being unconscious. He vivid like he not vivid. He clearly remembers being able to walk around the hospital and see his own body. Like
He had an
all
outer
this man.
body experience at that time.
Yeah. And so doing that, he was he said he remembers doing that, no doubt.
What they put him
And
on?
he would I have no idea. But no, listen, it gets trippy, bro.
I got you.
Well, at least to me it does.
Hmm.
So like he was walking through the hospital. He said he ran into somebody, and the only thing he was able to see on him was his feet. He couldn't look at his face or body or anything. He just see his feet, right?
Okay.
And so that immediately, like to him, that immediately made him think, "Oh, this is Jesus." And so
Mm.
he remembers going back to his, he remembers walking back to his, like his, what do you call it, room? Like not
Little
patient
bed.
room. What do you call it?
Yeah, his bedside
Like
there. Yeah.
yeah, his bedside, his room anyway. He remembers walking over there. They sat down. They sat down beside his body where he was laying down, and I'm just gonna say Jesus. Jesus was talking to him the entire time. Like he was. I can't remember. You gotta ask him. He can tell you like it was a book. But they were having a conversation, and he said he heard something, and like he said he saw Jesus like wave his hand, and when he looked, he could see at the door there was this like dark figure, like this dark figure would back up every time he would do it, and he would do it like every so often. And he says the best thing he can explain that being was death. Like death was right
Death
there
was
around the corner,
looming.
ready for him.
Death was looming
Yeah,
right there for him,
yeah, like
and
right
he
there.
was being talked to by Jesus. But on the other side, there in the corner, there was
Yeah,
darkness. There was death. Hmm. It's
yeah,
pretty
and so
powerful.
yeah, and so like having conversation, he was explaining things to him, and he he remembers walking over to the next patient's room beside him, and it was a little girl. He says it was a little girl. They were they were talking to him, and then the girl got up out of the bed and walked away with Jesus, right? And so
Okay.
then a day later, my dad wakes up from being unconscious, and he they're going about their business, right? They're
Right on.
giving him his information and all this, and letting him know what's happening. And then he asked the doctor, did somebody pass away in the room beside us? And they're like,
Like,
no, yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with the question.
all right.
I don't know, man. Like growing up, I was
Yeah.
definitely like so. We grew up in the city, right? I was born in Cleveland, Mississippi. We grew up. We did not live there. I was just born there. We lived
Gotcha.
in Starkville, but
So a little like suburb outside the
no, it was
city.
in a duplex beside some Koreans or Chinese. I don't know.
One
Asian.
of the three. There you go.
Yeah, one or two, or three, something like that. But it was. I don't know. It was. I don't want to say it was difficult because I barely remember any of it. I don't really like. I don't know. I remember it, but it just. I mean, I was there.
You said difficult. So what makes you say that?
No, but I don't want to say difficult because there's definitely like people have been through a lot worse. I know for a
No,
fact, no
difficult in
doubt.
your perspective. So I mean, maybe
No,
you can.
not like I don't even want to say my perspective. Like it was just different. Like so.
Yeah, give a few
Our
examples of.
mom, she went to school for I don't like music or what, I don't know what you call them, music arts. I can't tell you, but
Yeah, she studied music, man.
yeah, she studied music. There you go. Dad currently at the moment did not have a job, and so and our mom didn't have a job. She was just going to school, and so I literally have no idea where the money was coming from. But there was a lot of no separate like no food days. We didn't really eat,
So there wasn't really a lot of
and
money going around, right?
nah,
It
most
wasn't like
definitely
that.
not.
They weren't slinging something, the way you worded
Nah,
it there. I'm like, what were they
like
peddling something?
nah, like a meal, like something good that was like, oh my goodness, we get to eat that. Was like ramen noodles. That was like
Damn, bro.
we were happy.
Your mother
Yeah.
didn't get to have no good home cooking.
Nah, it wasn't that. It's like we just didn't have the money for it.
No, no, I get it. She didn't even have the
Yeah.
opportunity. So that's
Nah,
a damn
no.
shame. All right, so
And
you were
so
scraping by for
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And like, but like we were happy. I mean, well, I was happy. I was a kid. My parents, they probably, I most definitely know they
They
weren't.
probably were not happy, but you
They
knew
were
nothing different.
no, like growing up, like, but like when we got older, I definitely remember them fighting a lot.
Hmm.
They really did, like, and so like that. I don't know. I didn't really like that. Like who does?
Who does,
But
man? I mean, I think a lot of people
no,
can relate to that.
yeah. But you know, ramen noodles, like I was saying.
No, yeah.
I
So
remember
you
there
went
was a
from
time
there,
where like
like,
we would have cereal, but we didn't have milk, so we
oh,
would use water and just put sugar in it.
god damn, I only
That
do
was
that for my oatmeal, bro.
no, bro.
Sadly,
We did that with cereal, bro. Like yeah,
that's crazy
but
to
like
me.
it was something different. Like it was something different than just fucking ramen noodles and
Oh, that's a
you know.
damn shame, though.
No
No,
man.
I mean,
But,
I'm just blessed because I got to it. Sure, I've ate my fair share of ramen noodles, and I ain't
yeah,
growing up into a bunch of money. It was mainly growing up into its debt, but
and see, like that's what my parents like. I think my mom after like I think she finally just got done. I want to say was it last year? She's debt free, which is amazing, which is cool.
did she
But
have to
like
file bankruptcy?
no, she her dad actually tried to convince her to, and she said she didn't want to.
Well,
You know?
not of it. Um, you get like this perspective, like holy shit, you know, uh, they almost wanted. At a certain point, I have to find my own path, and I try to just look at the wrongs from the rights and see where, don't walk down that path. But you know, you can either become just like your fucking parents, or you have cases where people make breakthroughs and that sort of thing. And I'm not saying I had it. I have two wonderful parents. You know, I couldn't ask for better. They tried their fucking best.
Yeah,
And they did me well. Shit, they're just. It's hard to see mistakes that end up. You see them struggle as an adult now. It's like, all right, now I need to take some responsibility, take the reign, and you don't want
yeah,
to fall into the same traps, the same pits.
yeah.
Um,
It's a you like you don't want to be in the situation anywhere.
no, and you're almost scared that you can control your own destiny, but it's like letting yourself know. Like, it's much easier for me to fall in their trap than it is to escape it, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. Uh, it doesn't always have to be the case because you can see success leads to failure in another generation, or failure leads to success in one generation. But
yeah. I feel like I feel like I don't know. You have to like it's known that in order to I don't know be successful, you have to fail because you don't learn any other way. And so I wouldn't be scared. I mean, yes, it's not wrong to be scared, but I wouldn't let it
yeah,
overcome you to a point to where you just don't do anything.
right. Well, that's where you can end up. That's where I've kind of faced it myself, to be honest with you. And it's failure. Once I do it, yeah, sure. I hate what that feeling that comes with it, but I do know ingrained that it's a part of life. Hell, my negative attitude a lot of the time would just tell you life is mostly a failure for me, and I'm just not looking, too positively on things.
Yeah,
All I see is fucking failure most of the time. So why bother doing anything? It gets like that, and that's not the right
it gets
way. To
overwhelming.
yeah, it becomes to a
Like,
point.
what's the point of trying?
Why? And because you also get comfortable in that feeling to a point where you're okay with staying there because you don't even remember what it was like to feel okay and at peace with yourself. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
I get to this point where it's like, fuck, I don't even have the nostalgia of it. Like, what? I know I can get there, but you're also just comfortable in this fucking shell that wants to just you become smaller and the shell becomes bigger, and all it
Yeah.
does is trap you inside. And that's a hard road to navigate because you know that in the end you're gonna have to just break free from that, not let the shell control you. And I've been in those mindsets. I think also I use the excuse of like, well, I could get there again, but what happens when I feel like this? Like, you know, you just pick back up, pick back up, pick back up, and that's what you're told all the time. And damn, you know, that's probably can't argue with that truth. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta get back up every time you fall.
I about fell out my chair. You
Damn,
went too
dude,
far.
you didn't break the chair, did you?
Nah. um. I don't know, man.
No, was I too deep for you?
No, no, it's not too deep. It's just I have a. I'm just trying to break it down.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot to unravel.
Cause like so I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Like like I suck at this shit, bro.
No,
Like
man.
cause I
I
don't.
can. Let me start with this. Like, what is your opinion on that? You know, how do you handle life when it comes at you when you're getting thrown down? Are you just the type to you're gonna
So
stand back
if
up?
you don't
And
mind, are you religious any type of way or?
so I grew up Christian up until about the time I about 12 or 13. When I hit puberty, I started questioning
Yeah.
things, and
Gotcha,
I
gotcha.
became agnostic. Okay, and I wasn't against the
Let
idea of
me
God. Yes.
pull up real quick.
What are we pulling up?
Agnostic.
Oh, agnostic. If you want me to, I can explain.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah, no,
basically
yeah.
like we're not denying there's a idea of God, but we don't conform to
So
any one
okay,
belief.
gotcha. That's so that would be along the same thing with my mom's dad. Yeah, that's exactly how my grandfather is.
Okay. Yeah. So,
Yeah. So
and I could still align with that today, but I found that Buddhism wasn't solely like a religion, and I don't follow it the way a typical Buddhist would. But during my time of just wanting to find, I did want to find answers for what I was going through and at peace and a kind of a purpose as to, you know, why I was going through these experiences. I needed some sort of
yeah,
solace. So I
gotcha.
looked for different answers through religion and whatever, and eventually Buddhism stuck out to me.
Yeah,
Um, it wasn't because I wanted to really. I didn't even want to be a part of like that idea, like oh, to say I represent as Buddhism. I wasn't so much looking for that. I just loved the values that they possessed, and it was
yeah,
like principles to help me live life. And it wasn't so much telling me concrete like read this, read that. This is how everything goes. Yes, do I,
yeah,
you know, so I don't tie myself fully into it to where, do I believe that there's some sort of reincarnation of life as we know it? Yes. Does it come in the physical representation? These are, you know, there's a lot of unknowns that I think we need to accept that are built into this whole system. It's great to question and discover, but there's a reason that we have the ability to question, and it wasn't just to find out all the answers. If we did that, why would we question?
yeah. No, that's completely. I
So
understand what you're saying.
that's where I'm like, and I love the Buddhism principles and the values that it has. You know, realizing we're all kind of an equal unity and, and
Yeah,
finding peace in ourselves, that type of thing. So yeah, I am, you know, I believe in those Buddhism values. But what were you saying before that? You asked me what
so
religion I am, and you were
oh
talking.
yeah, so okay, yeah, no, so like, so a lot of how I go about certain circumstances in my life, I look at it from a like I look at it from I attack it from like I don't know how to say it without it sounding bad because I'm terrible with words.
Spit it out, man.
Well,
I'll
not bad, it's
translate.
just not bad, but like so when something goes wrong, that it gets to a certain point to where I feel like I just want to give up. I don't I don't really give up on it. I rely on I rely on Jesus. I let
Okay,
I
so
just
that's your backbone, right?
yeah,
That's
like because I mean that's like that's where I'm that's what I'm grounded in, and like that's what he lets us know we can do that.
see, I don't. I mean, that's what I grew up on. You know,
Yeah,
uh, that was all I needed was to know that there was Jesus and God, and there was a heaven, and if I didn't do right, you know, there was a hell. I didn't really even grow up going to church much until I was like a teenager.
that's,
I went for, you know, a couple years on and
oh,
off, and eventually I fell out of it. But
so have you so like as far as like studying into Christianity much, you haven't really done it, or you have?
I've been exposed to it enough to where
Yeah,
I don't need to really study it. that was what
Yeah.
I was. You know, my mom's mother, she was as Christian as it gets. You know,
Yeah.
she didn't like, she's pretty racist, didn't like gays, but everything in that Bible was true to her.
Yeah.
Very nice, sweet woman. Went to church every Sunday for her whole life, but she stuck to what was in that Bible. And
Yeah.
you know, my mom kind of has been able to question it more, and she allows me to. You know, eventually she saw that I could think for my fucking self, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But all I knew growing up was that there was God in this Christian representation, and I believed in Jesus and everything that was told in the Bible.
Yeah.
Now I began questioning like certain things about the way that they treated, you know, homosexuality and just the whole idea that people aren't equal up to a certain point. And I realized, I mean, I could go into it as to how I just think it's man's word manipulated. Maybe it was at one point Jesus and it was the original Bible, but I think men have tainted it and it wasn't in the eyes of necessarily God. Although I will say, I believe all of us are a form of God. Whatever we believe God is, that, you know, that's okay as long as we know that we're part of a unity. That's something greater that we can't quite, you know, come to grips with and understand is there to guide us, and we're here for a greater purpose. But just knowing our energy is shared, and I mean it's all one, and it comes from the eyes of God. That's, you know, we have two eyes, we see it through this one lens, but yet life and death occur all around us. Everyone goes through it. Yeah, man, I just think that everyone's religion can add a great benefit and foundation, man. But I hate to see the amount of people that have died. We're getting on the religious you know, but to be honest with you, given, you know, I asked you about your upbringing, that's a pretty key component in how you're thinking. So now you're able to rely on Jesus, you know, as you said, and I see nothing wrong with that. I wish we had more tolerance. Whatever you're leaning on, a lot of religions say, well, if you're not leaning on this, then you're going, you know, you've done wrong. I mean, that's what my other family members were told. Like, if you're going to hell for this, if you don't think this way, you're going to hell. Yeah, if I'm cutting out, you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, you're going to hell. See, the devil was trying to get to me right there. God damn.
Okay, no, hold on. Restate what you were saying again.
No, what I was saying is like the whole idea of someone in my family would, you know, almost chastise or whatever. If you're doing this, you're doing that. You say this, or you say that, you're going to hell.
Gotcha.
You know, if you don't believe in this, you're going to hell. So if I don't believe in, I'm not saying I wasn't a man. Let's just say I didn't believe in Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to hell. Right
So,
along.
okay, so I mean, it's if not so not believing. So the way I understand it, along like going with Christianity, refusing to like you have it's weird because you have a lot of people that believe in Christianity,
Mm-hmm.
but don't believe that I can't remember what religion is, but they don't believe that Jesus resurrected and all that. But I'm not trying to go off subject. Going off what you said, not believing in Jesus, you'll go to hell. Yeah, like going with the religion of Christianity. Yeah.
So you think that every other religion then is wrong, and because they don't believe in the same values that you do, they deserve to go to hell, even though if you were in their boots, you would be the same religion as them.
So the way I see it, I don't know. It's hard to explain. So I don't judge other people for their religion because it's not my job to judge anyone.
Right.
That's not what
I'm not saying you're the one that's juding it, but you're using your beliefs to back up what is going to happen. What would be the answer? Oh, we're all good.
So like, what did you say again? I zoned out for like a split second.
You don't need to be the one to judge it. You're just using something that in your mind controls what is going to happen between, you know, this life and the next for that person based on whether or not they chose to believe in Jesus and they went to hell, they committed murder. I mean, so what do you know that it's out of your hands, but at the same time, you're giving all of your faith away too. what I mean, it's you know it's out of your control, so there's nothing for you to answer as far as that. You just go based on what the his teachings
Yeah.
have been there. Okay.
And see, so he like so it tells us the Bible tells us the like the ways of being able to enter heaven, and it also describes to us how not to end up in heaven, like the things that like if you don't do these things, you will not be able to enter into His kingdom, heaven. Which it's not forcing you to do anything, but like if you call yourself going like following like becoming a Christian, then why wouldn't you want to follow those rules if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
get it. I fell into that pattern until I'll let you finish. But what I'm saying is like it comes to a point where you start to. Well, it's cool to be comforted by it, man. But it's almost, you know, ignorance is bliss. I'm not saying you have ignorance for believing in what you want to. I think that's our choice through whatever God you see. You know, we're here for that. That's why I don't knock. I think we need to find more unity. But I mean, it comes to a point where, uh, why is this? What makes this the truth when everyone else finds the truth?
no, see, I'm not saying so religion comes down to faith.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
is there is nothing saying I'm not saying this to go against my religion, but I'm just saying this as an example. There is nothing saying that. So let's just say what do you call what is Muslim
Yeah.
is Muslim a religion?
Oh yeah.
Okay, no, well I know it's religion. I just wasn't sure if I was using the right word.
Yeah, man.
There is nothing saying that Muslim is the
Muslim.
right religion,
Yeah.
being Muslim and being Christian is wrong. There's nothing saying that. Your religion comes down to faith, and so if you pick a religion, if you the religion you pick, I feel like you should if you rely on that then and you believe in that, I feel like you should have like I feel like that's what you should like if you feel I don't what's the word
Let me
if
try and put the like if you feel like that is what should be representing and that's your faith,
yeah
just
if you
as
feel
you
like that
feel
is right
if you feel like in your heart you know you want to be Christian.
yeah
So that's
there's
where I find it strange that you come to a crossroads where we start all these wars over this and we can't come to that simple, communality. We can't live in that coexistence. Blood
and
was
so
shed
that's
so
just
many times just because of you didn't believe in my God.
yeah and so you're like you're referring to like the like in the Bible how are the wars and stuff right like how
Yeah, just our history. I
yeah
mean, humans in general,
yeah no
religion
yeah no I completely understand what you mean so like I don't know people don't like having control if you know what I mean
don't or
and
do.
so
I think
no
people
like
love
okay
having.
no okay
They like
let
to
me
not have.
bad
Let
wording
me.
bad wording yeah
I, I'll let you go
they not
again.
they don't like the fact of not being able to control like I don't know how do I word it
They
you
want
probably
the
better wording it
answers. They want the answers, and every human wants to know the unknown. They like to feel
yeah
that comfort of like, they can be satiated, and usually that comes through power and control, or it's at least this idea implanted in their mind, right? People are just they like to come into communities, tribes. We've done that, and they label themselves as eventually we have a king, a queen, and now we have parties. People love being able to identify with something, is what you're saying, instead of being, unattached. They need to find meaning with their identity, so they go to X, Y, or Z, and just in order to feel that sense of comfort and whatever they want to believe in, they can believe in.
yeah
Monkey.
I,
All
I,
right.
I think no man look like I promise you if you knew me in real life I would be like one of the weirdest people bro I'm telling you like my brain just has the hardest time breaking down things
Yeah. No, I was
so I
kind
think
of. I was trying, but
no I think I understood what you meant I think
it's a
but
lot.
I'm a simple man with a simple mind but
I try
so
to keep it simple, but shit, it ain't. You
it's
know,
hard um I don't know like yeah man
we almost
I'm
need
really
like a
trying to
we almost need like a rewind on that, dude.
yeah for real no
So,
okay so what's up
floor is yours.
no what you about to say
The floor is yours.
I don't even know what to say now though. That's crazy. Okay, so like down to like so the way I feel it, religion is something that it's up to you. You were given the choice to choose what you believe in. You're not forced to believe in anything. So
Well, why do I go to hell?
why do you? Well, I mean, so
See,
in Christian, no, no, like, let me explain. So like in Christian and being in Christianity, the reasons for going to hell if you choose not to, if you choose, if you choose not to follow the works of the Lord, like
okay,
if you,
following his
so,
footsteps, right?
yeah,
Following
if you
his
choose not
footsteps.
to follow in his footsteps, if you if you refuse to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior for dying on the cross for your sins
Yeah,
and not and not
I don't refuse him. You know, right? Like me
yeah,
personally, I sure would I accept? I'll accept a lot. I just know it's beyond me. I'm just here for a greater purpose that maybe I don't fully understand. But to your point, um, you know, in my opinion, yeah, we just aren't able to always know what. If I say I like Jesus Christ or I don't like Jesus Christ, that is that really? I mean, that puts me in hell. That puts me in heaven. I just don't know. Is it something that delicate in your mind? Because then a lot of people that have lived this life are just going to be burning, right? Because they don't accept it. Whereas in my mind, I don't have a reason not to accept it. But
yeah. But I
no.
don't know.
So
It's
what do you say for that? So all those people in that in the eyes of what you're believing in would be going to hell, right?
if they refuse to accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior,
Well, yeah, I think a lot of religions don't.
and like going with what is written in the Bible, yes.
But then they think the
Which
same thing about Christians. You know, that's the
which is
weird way it goes.
I mean, which I understand, and I don't hate them for that. I mean, that's their religion, you know.
Just the way
I have
she
nothing
goes.
against them.
All right.
That's just what they
You
believe in, you
cannot
know. I'm
control
not.
them.
No,
Yeah.
I can't.
No, so I'm going with you on that. Like you're not going to be the one to come up with the answers for
I'm
all
not
this.
going. I'm not going to hate somebody because of how they choose to look at me. That's to me that's pointless. You know, I don't see the
Hmm.
point. I look at everybody as I don't know. Like I am a very forgiving person.
We're
I
right. So you see ourselves as equals, and
yes.
um, we were meant here, you know, to be here in order to like have these different opinions. If we didn't diversify, you know, this wouldn't be life. It's kind of imprinted in all of us. We could be one and
So
the same, but we can all have and share different opinions, faith,
so
whatever.
in in Christianity, so you know Adam and Eve, right?
Oh yeah.
Originally they were created to let's see how should I put this. I'm not trying to sound like
Put
a
it in your
person.
words, bro.
Yeah, they were made to.
Don't overthink this, man.
I know, bro. I'm trying so hard not to. Down. Yeah, no pressure. They were God made them because He wanted to like be worshipped. You know what I'm saying?
Setting an
Or
example.
yeah, like man, I'm having a hard time explaining this. I don't know why.
Google's your friend.
I'm just I'm no I'm bad with words, bro. Like I can say it in my head. I completely understand it, but I just cannot put it in words.
I think your
And
head
that's
is
just
getting away.
how I've always been.
That's why
But
just spit
uh,
spit your lingo, man.
lingo.
Whatever's coming into your head, bro. You gotta shorten it and sweeten it. I don't really care.
So, but we were you know
What's your head saying, bro?
the meaning of life was not what it was intended to be when Adam and Eve was created. We were meant to enjoy the creations of God, which we still do. You know, when we you know
I
look
mean,
at nature.
I get all the positives, but we've done a lot of horrific things that have just been
Yes, but
found
see
in.
that wasn't
Wasn't any
actually
intention.
intended.
No, of
No,
course. So that's why we
it
have
was
like the
not. But
hell
see,
and the
yeah,
evil.
and see that was the reason all that got disrupted was because of man sin to disobey. You know, they didn't listen. They ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They were deceived by Satan, and so down that path you have a bunch of people that were being born in a world of sin because I mean it's there now. Sin is there. There's no way around it.
Why did God allow it?
Why did He allow it? Because He made us with free will. He made us to have the ability to choose. Because so the best way I can explain it, when you if you was to make something, if you were to make something, how would it feel to have you have something to be made. So you just know it's going to do that without a doubt. It's going to do that. It has no free will. It has no choice to do
Some
anything.
people already know that through repetition. At the beginning, what if the failure or the success was already predetermined?
Wait, hold up, break that down. Need some water.
Yeah, bro.
Yes, everything that we do. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's something that I don't know. You can go on a loop about. You can go on a loop. Well, this, that, this, and that. It is up to us completely 100% what we do. But at the end, it like I don't. It's so hard to explain because shit. God know. God knows. God knows everything. He knows how it's going to begin, and he knows how it's going to end. He knows every step and shift we're going to do. He just knows that. Yeah, he
Uh,
knows. He knows the exact date, time, second,
he knows
millisecond I'm going to die.
he knows when you're
He
gonna
knows that,
die.
and
So it's
there's nothing I can do to
prevent
avoid
it.
that, prevent
Yeah.
that. Which I mean, which is completely okay because it's not like me knowing okay I'm gonna die 3 days from now. Like I don't know, but like as far as like the knowing, let me think. Excuse me. Free will. I believe we have free will, even though like when even though it is written what's going to happen, it's so hard to explain, man. I have it broken down in my head. It's just
We're
man,
bound by
I,
words in order to convey it, and then we're also stuck in our heads.
man, what
Man, you know exactly what I'm saying. We're bound to the language. You can only
yeah.
speak. You know, that's the only way
If
that
I
we
could
can hear.
show you, if I
Yeah,
could show you what I was thinking, it would be so much easier to explain things. But
because we're
that's
stuck
just
in our heads.
yeah. So, but free will, like destiny. What were you saying about like break it? Say it to me again. It'll help me break it down.
Shit, who you asking, Ivan?
Yeah, no, you.
Oh, oh, free will is the idea. You know, I mean, what are we getting at here? The idea that we actually have the choice to make these decisions in our lives,
Yeah.
and then our destiny is like you can have that be predetermined through our trials and tribulations, right? You're gonna have, you know,
So
one. You can live to your destiny, and whether that be good or bad, but this is all kind of subjective. That's kind of what I'm
so
getting at.
yeah. So at the end of the day, God knows what's like. He knows what's going to happen. You know that
So
that is that.
where's the free will in that?
So that's what I want. That's what I'm trying to explain. But my brain is just so small, like too small to really break it down. So you
Live your
have a
life.
choice.
You can just
You
live your
like
life however.
you have a choice of how you want to live your life. And so if you choose to
But if he
live
already
it,
knows what's gonna happen, if I can just say that, like stop you right, like if they already
yeah.
know, God knows what's gonna happen with your life and the outcome, and it was almost predetermined, and we are part of God. What? How do we really even have that? What if that choice was predetermined before we even knew we made the decision? Because the outcome is going to be in what the hands of God is.
Well, that's why you just live your life and just whatever happens, happens.
But he already
Just
knows the ending, right?
he knows the ending, but you don't. So then it's a
Yeah.
complete mystery. So then you can just
Yeah, so we're blinded by it, but it's. I'm just trying. I'm not saying you don't have free will. I'm just if you were on the other side of that, and you had to sit there and be like, okay, he knows, but I don't. That's just built into our foundation, right? And we're not meant to know. And what we believe is what we believe. So we do have this free choice in our day-to-day lives. That's what we think. You know, right from wrong, and we make the decisions. But if there's something higher than us, above us, already knows the who's finished the race, and at what time, and when, and how. From the time,
You're
the,
saying you're
the
saying how is
time
that
that,
free will?
yeah, how is that free will if God has already knows where you're going to end up? You're saying like a kid that dies from cancer at like in infancy, or has a lung collapse, or something tragic. That
well,
that was he knew that was. Did he know it physically, or did he? I mean, was that the destiny? I'm just saying. It
I mean
seems
it was
it seems strange. Some people don't get the chance to even experience free will. You know, in our
Yeah.
minds. So, but if he has the answers and we don't, I mean, it would be nice to know that you can either go towards the heaven or you can sink towards the hell. But I think that
It's,
you know
so see, that's
you
where
would like to have some sort of, in my mind, that free will. You
and
can control your destiny. So that's where, you know, I can go on both sides of this.
yeah, like I just got done saying, Ivo, it's always gonna be it's a loop. You're gonna be stuck in a loop. But
Everything's a loop.
like you can go both ways with the question, as in, so you can say this, but I don't. It's hard for me to explain.
So you can see my that point of view
Yeah,
of
yeah, I see
how,
what you're saying.
because that's what I try and do with all these subjects is I try and break them
Yeah.
down and see both sides. And most of the time I realize that a lot of it is beyond my control, and that acceptance and peace and knowing that I'm something
Yeah. So
greater,
I feel like
that helps me.
at the end of the day, you have the choice whether or not you end up in hell or heaven.
But if God already
Because
knew that you were going to make that choice,
exactly, like
so
which
he's
is
setting you up for failure. It's almost like
no,
it's almost like a bind.
no, not setting you up for failure. See, you don't know what that choice is, so you can't say,
No,
well, I
you
want to end up to heaven.
you may think you have a choice at the time, but in the end, your choice was always the one from up above, possibly. Because if you already knew what was going to happen, kind of get. I mean, come on,
I mean,
come
I think
on.
I think you do. Okay.
It's, I don't.
So do I. I would like to believe that we have a free will on, you know, to do good, bad, whatever we want to call it. I think we're serving something higher than us. I believe that we're more in 3D flesh, bro.
I mean, that could be true. We're probably like in a
Or something.
simulation right now.
We could be in God's simulation. There's God, or it could be a higher source which is composed of all of us. You know, if we're gonna be in a simulation, it's not gonna be anything like what we think. Technology, and in a way that computerized, it's not gonna be zeros, ones. I mean,
Binary.
yeah, we're not gonna be doing it
Matrix.
through it. We're trying to replicate that, but no, this is something greater than that. I don't. We call it 3D. I just call it 2D. These dimensions could be a 5D, something out of our
It's spiritual,
perspective.
like
Yeah.
yeah. So your spirit, like, so your physical body and your spirit are two different things, obviously. But like within your body, you have a spirit, you have a soul
Internal and external are one up until you depart
up until
from.
death.
Yes,
That's when.
your
That's
internal
when.
carries with you.
Wait, what?
I would say the internal. Not to say your external is how you appear on, like,
Yeah, that's how
your name
that's how we
and
see
how
each
you
other. Yeah.
interact, and your internal would be more related to, you know, you could call it a soul. I
Yeah.
would say, or spirit. Those are different, but
Well, so yeah, it's soul. It's soul. I was trying to correct myself. I was saying spirit is soul. Like
yeah,
that's what yeah.
a soul is something, you know, that's. I think of a spirit as lingering almost, like.
So okay, so you have the spirit of God,
Mm,
and like so in Christianity you have the spirit of God, and so you know the spirit of God. You have the I think it's called the spirit of death,
mm.
and that's what the spirit or no wait, no, I'm tripping. Is it
No.
angel of death?
Let's see here. Spirit of God has something to do with breath. I'm gonna try and be a. You gotta be fact checking yourself, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, where's my Bible at? And
Where's my
let me go.
Bible at?
Let me.
I just googled up Spirit of God.
Let me pull up page 532.
Yeah, I got it bookmarked. All right. Now it's not paused, so I can clip it at any point.
Bet. Okay, so bet. But so no.
No, really though. Do you have any last words?
Yeah. So going off of like what me and Buddha were talking about earlier, how what's the point of trying, or like when it feels like you may end up following down the same path as what was set out before you, and so what's the point of trying. If I'm not mistaken. If I remember that's how it was said. So Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord thy God will be with you wherever you go. And so I feel so don't try to rely and like from a Christian point of view, when things get hard, don't be afraid to just say, God, I need help. You know, I've tried, but I'm gonna put it in, I'm gonna leave it in your hands. I've done the best I can. But don't let it don't become so overcome with the fear of falling down the path that was set before you that you just don't go anywhere, because I feel like you've given up then. And if you know, if I'm saying it right.
All right, hang on. I'm gonna spit this out, and then I'm getting something. So like, your free will, and you're talking about if we didn't know, what would be the point? You know, or the satisfaction if you already knew something was gonna be a success, right?
Yeah.
It's
But like,
not
so like,
that we don't know. It's just all of a sudden we do know, and then it becomes a repetition, and then you can still fail. Okay. But even if we knew failure is already, it could be predetermined. I'm not saying, I'm just trying to be, you know, the antagonist here. Let's just say you succeed, you don't. Maybe it's built in the fact that we don't know at the beginning, and that convinces us that we actually have free will. But all of our successes and failures, all of our opinions have been formed for us, and we're just convinced we actually do have some kind of choice. When a lot of times we look at humanity and we're like, how the fuck did this happen? You know?
So yeah, so my brain just like all of a sudden started working for a split second, and I hope it stays like that. So damn, I shouldn't have spoke.
Dude,
So
I'm gonna
we
let
were
this thing just record. I'm gonna go get a drink, and you're gonna spit out.
well, actually, if you're
I'm
gonna,
gonna
I'm gonna
look
go
at
get a drink
poetry.
real quick because my mouth is dry, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe I just need some water to, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. He's not back yet. All right. What was the subject we were on? Like not the subject, but like what was if you were listening. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So like our life being like he was saying. Okay, I remember what you're saying. So like I do believe in free will, but yes, everything that we do, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's something that I don't know. You can go on a loop about. You can go on a loop. Well, this, and that. It is up to us completely 100% what we do. But at the end, it like I don't. It's so hard to explain because shit. God know. God knows. God knows everything. He knows how it's going to begin, and he knows how it's going to end. He knows every step and shift we're going to do. He just knows that. Yeah, he knows. He knows the exact date, time, second, millisecond I'm going to die.
He knows when you're gonna die.
And
Yeah, so it's
there's nothing I can do to avoid that, prevent that. Which I mean, is completely okay because it's not like me knowing, okay, I'm gonna die 3 days from now. Like I don't know, but like as far as like the knowing, let me think. Excuse me. Free will. I believe we have free will, even though like when even though it is written what's going to happen, it's so hard to explain, man. I have it broken down in my head. It's just, man.
We're bound by words in order to convey it, and then we're also stuck in our heads.
Man, what?
Man, you know exactly what I'm saying. We're bound to the language. You can only speak. You know, that's the only way
if
that
I
we
could
can
show
hear.
you, if I could show you what I was thinking, it would be so much easier to explain things.
Because we're stuck in our heads.
Yeah. So, but free will, like destiny. What were you saying about like break it? Say it to me again. It'll help me break it down.
Shit, who you asking, Ivan?
Yeah, no, you.
Oh, oh, free will is the idea. I mean, what are we getting at here? The idea that we actually have the choice to make these decisions in our lives,
Yeah.
and then our destiny is like you can have that be predetermined through our trials and tribulations, right? You're gonna have, you know,
So
one. You can live to your destiny, and whether that be good or bad, but this is all kind of subjective. That's kind of what I'm
so
getting at.
yeah. So at the end of the day, God knows what's like. He knows what's going to happen. You know that
So
that is that.
where's the free will in that?
So that's what I want. That's what I'm trying to explain. But my brain is just so small, like too small to really break it down. So you
Live your
have a
life.
choice.
You can just
You
live your
like
life however.
you have a choice of how you want to live your life. And so if you choose to
But if he
live
already
it,
knows what's gonna happen, if I can just say that, like, stop you right. Like, if they already
yeah.
know, God knows what's gonna happen with your life and the outcome, and it was almost predetermined, and we are part of God. What? How do we really even have that? What if that choice was predetermined before we even knew we made the decision? Because the outcome is going to be in what the hands of God is.
Well, that's why you just live your life and just whatever happens, happens.
But he already
Just
knows the ending, right?
he knows the ending, but you don't. So then it's a
Yeah.
complete mystery. So then you can just
Yeah. So we're blinded by it, but it's. I'm just trying. I'm not saying you don't have free will. I'm just, if you were on the other side of that, and you had to sit there and be like, okay, he knows, but I don't. That's just built into our foundation, right? And we're not meant to know. And what we believe is what we believe. So we do have this free choice in our day-to-day lives. That's what we think, right from wrong, and we make the decisions. But if there's something higher than us, above us, already knows the who's finished the race and at what time and when and how, from the time
You're
the,
saying you're
the
saying how is
time
that
that,
free will?
yeah, how is that free will if God has already knows where you're going to end up? You're saying like a kid that dies from cancer at, like, in infancy, or has a lung collapse or something tragic. They, that
well,
was, he knew that was. Did he know it physically, or did he? I mean, was that the destiny? I'm just saying. It
I mean,
seems
it was
it seems strange. Some people don't get the chance to even experience free will, in our
yeah.
minds. Uh, so, but if he has the answers and we don't, I mean, it would be nice to know that you can either go towards the heaven or you can sink towards the hell. But I think that
It's,
you
so
would
see,
like
that's where
to have some sort of, in my mind, that free will. You
and
can control your destiny. So that's where, I can go on both sides of this.
yeah, like I just got done saying, Ivo, it's always gonna be it's a loop. You're gonna be stuck in a loop. But
Everything's a loop.
like you can go both ways with the question, as in, so you can say this, but I don't. It's hard for me to explain.
So you can see my that point of view
Yeah,
of
yeah, I
how,
see what you're saying.
because that's what I try and do with all these subjects, is I try and break them
Yeah,
down and see both sides. And most of the time I realize that a lot of it is beyond my control, and that acceptance and peace and knowing that I'm something
yeah. So
greater,
I feel like
that helps me.
at the end of the day, you have the choice whether or not you end up in hell or heaven.
But if God already knew
Because
that you were going to make that choice, huh.
exactly, like
So
which
he's
is which
setting you
is
up for failure. It's almost like
no,
it's almost like a bind.
no, not setting you up for failure. See, you don't know what that choice is, so you can't say,
No,
well, I want to end up to heaven.
you may think you have a choice at the time, but in the end, your choice was always the one from up above, possibly. Because if you already knew what was going to happen, kind of get. I mean, come on,
I mean,
come
I think
on.
I think you do. Okay.
It's I don't.
So do I. I would like to believe that we have a free will to do good, bad, whatever we want to call it. I think we're serving something higher than us. I believe that we're more in 3D flesh, bro.
I mean, that could be true. We're probably like in a
Or something.
simulation right now.
We could be in God's simulation. There could be this God, or it could be a higher source which is composed of all of us. You know, if we're gonna be in a simulation, it's not gonna be anything like what we think. Technology, and in a way that computerized, it's not gonna be zeros, ones. I mean,
Binary.
yeah, we're not gonna be doing it to it.
Matrix.
We're trying to replicate that, but no, this is something greater than that. I don't. We call it 3D. I just call it 2D. These dimensions could be a 5D, something out of our
It's spiritual.
perspective.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So your spirit, like, so your physical body and your spirit are two different things, obviously. But like within your body, you have a spirit, you have a soul.
Internal and external are one up until you depart
Up
from.
until death.
Yes.
That's when.
Your
That's
internal
when-
carries with you.
Wait, what?
I would say the internal. Not to say your external is how you appear on like
Yeah, that's how
your name
that's how we
and
see
how
each
you
other, yeah.
interact, and your internal would be more related to, you could call it a soul. I
Yeah.
would say, or spirit. Those are different, but
Well, so yeah, it's soul. It's soul. I was trying to correct myself. I was saying spirit is soul. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
a soul is something, that's. I think of a spirit as lingering almost, like.
So okay, so you have the spirit of God,
Mm,
and like so in Christianity you have the spirit of God, and so the spirit of God, you have the I think it's called the spirit of death,
mm.
and that's what the spirit or no wait, no, I'm tripping. Is it
No.
angel of death?
Let's see here. Spirit of God has something to do with breath. I'm gonna try and be a. You gotta be fact checking yourself, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, where's my Bible at? And
Where's my
Let me go.
Bible at?
let me.
I just googled up Spirit of God.
I'm gonna pull up page 532.
Yeah, I got it bookmarked. All right. Now it's not paused, so I can clip it at any point.
I bet. Okay, so bet. But so no.
No, really though. Do you have any last words?
Yeah. So going off of like what me and Buddha were talking about earlier, how what's the point of trying, or like when it feels like you may end up following down the same path as what was set out before you, and so what's the point of trying if I'm not mistaken, if I remember that's how it was said. So Joshua 1:9, have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord thy God will be with you wherever you go. And so I feel so don't try to rely, and like from a Christian point of view, when things get hard, don't be afraid to just say, God, I need help. I've tried, but I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna leave it in your hands. I've done the best I can, but don't let it. Don't become so overcome with the fear of falling down the path that was set before you that you just don't go anywhere, because I feel like you've given up then. And if I'm saying it right.